Hello and welcome back to Warhammer. I'm your host, Mark. We got a Blood Angels episode today. We're going to sink our teeth into this hunk of lore here. Joining me, Christian. Yo.
Hey, you got to give me more warning before you go live, man. I was still getting my makeup done, and you just hit the live button, and here we are, half
Oh,
dressed. I'm not wearing
man.
pants. I'm not even wearing pants.
Well, we thankfully we're mostly a podcast and not a YouTube, and our Patreon members, they have accepted the way that we look at this point. So you're good.
You don't get a choice.
Yeah, exactly. We also got Jordan joining us today.
Hello, and I do have my pants on today, so
Which is usually the
Nice.
inverse. Usually he's the one not wearing
Yes.
pants.
I'm
Yes.
bringing the class, elevating.
I bring the ass,
everyone.
Jordan.
And Jordan, are you drinking like a nice fancy red wine tonight for the occasion, pretending it's blood, or?
No, but it's like a kind of orangish amber whiskey, which is close enough to red.
You should drink a
I
sangria.
vote. Yeah. There you go. I vote in the chat if we get enough people to say and agree. Jordan has to just prick his finger and a couple drops of blood in his drink. Little stir, just for the occasion.
I could just grab some red paint and drip it in there.
I'm for it. I'm for the effect. I won't know the difference is the thing. So you could do anything. You could get a lot past me. But today, yeah, we're doing Blood Angels episode. The final part 4. We're doing the chapter and covering 10,000 years of history and kind of their 40k chapter era type stuff that we've been doing. But before we get into that, we'll do some quick housekeeping. We have merchandise. If you want merchandise, you can go to redbubble.com. Redbubble. We got cool banners like the one behind me. I'm not wearing a Lorehammer shirt, but one day I want to order another one. Jordan has a few. Christian has one. No, I stole the one from you, Christian, that you had once.
Oh, that's where it went, really? Oh, you
Yeah,
suck.
yeah.
I was looking for it.
Thief! Thief in the night!
Yeah.
Okay, so 35 years old, 36 years old, and still sharing clothes with a homie. I love that. That's a good time for us. But you can share clothes with a homie. Maybe you just go buy your homie a shirt on Redbubble, a Lorehammer shirt, and surprise him with one of those. You can get delivered anywhere you want. So maybe you can buy me my own shirt. And that way I won't have to steal from people.
I was going to say that next. If you want to help support Mark and his shirt collection so he doesn't steal anymore, you can also go to Patreon and support the show and join the Imperial Tithe. You can get an ad-free version of the show for only $2.50 and a video version for $5. That's all I got.
What a sales pitch.
And if you are a member of the Patreon, you can also join us for the live streams. You get access to the live chat room, and you could be a call-in guest at the end of the show. And I just might, if you send enough money, I might just drink a liter of red paint.
Nice. As the chat requests, unlike they don't want you to drink bloods. That's fine.
No.
They want the paint.
Paint is close enough.
Which is going to be worse for you.
It's like the Catholics. It transubstantiates as I drink it. It's a real blood.
That's cool. I like that. I've said many times now, 4 episodes deep, that I love the mythos and the Christian mythos of it. There's definitely some of those things where, yeah, you're drinking a lot of Sanguinius's blood. And I wonder how 10,000 years later they're still doing it, but we'll get into that later. Yeah, we got Blood Angels. What we're talking really about this episode is their history. I picked out a couple events that I thought were prominent, nowhere near everything. Reasons why I picked them were mostly just like, the chapter was lost in this battle? What are you talking about? How did I not know this? There's a couple of those that happened. And then we'll dive into the organization, talk about the Death Company, Sanguinary Guard, Honor Guard, a couple other cool things, and then we'll dive into their homeworld, back to Ball. Flora and fauna, we get to learn about some fire scorpions, as well as notable locations. They got some cool ones. We talked about their chapter fortress their last episode, the Arcs. I forget what it's called, but it's a pretty cool chapter fortress. But there's some other places. And then we will dive into the recruitment, gene seed, combat doctrine, beliefs, appearance, war gear, standard jibber jabber. Let's get at her. Oh, it appears my notes don't have any names. If somebody wants to read first, I'll just go after it.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's jump into.
Go ahead, Chris.
Let's get into their history. The second founding, M31.021, a troubled succession. Quote, Remote Gulliman, Gulliman the tactician, Gulliman the warrior. History will remember the Primarch of the Ultramarines by many titles. To us, the Blood Angels, we have only one, Gulliman the butcher. With law and edict, Gulliman ripped the heart from the legions. Even his own sons were not spared his treachery. Where Horus had sought to use a hammer blow, Gulliman used a duelist's blade. In the end, the result was the same. Brother became cousin. Cousin became exile. Gulliman's new chapter, his new beginning, was a sundering to all that had come before. Stripped of honor and tithe of history and deed, we were all of us undone. Bastards of war and victory, we were angels no more. Flesh Terror's chapter master, Nasir Ahmet.
Ooh, what a spicy quote there.
It's very harsh
I
words.
love the Yeah. Primarch, he's known as Gilliman the Butcher.
If you know anything about Ahmet, he is one for sharp words too. So it's pretty in line.
Cool.
From the grief and sorry, go ahead. From the grief and ruin of the great heresy came the second founding, a rebirth wrought in sorrow. The sons of Sanguinius, scattered and mourning, were gathered by Ascelion, last survivor of the Sanguinary Guard. Though accounts differ, all speak of his council leading to the Legion's remnants to form a handful of noble chapters, each commanded by champions of the Blood Angels and carrying forth their sacred rites and traditions. Thus began an age of rebuilding, as these new brotherhoods set forth as independent guardians of the Imperium. Among them, the wrathful Nasir Ahmet, called the Flesh Terror, led his chapter in relentless blood-soaked crusades against the traitor legions, forging the fearsome legacy that would mark them for all time.
Yeah, this is a cool moment. It's a cool moment, it's a sad moment, but it's a cool moment for a lot of chapters where they get broken down into all these varying personalities. The Flesh Terrors are the most savage and extreme kind of blood angels, and they get broken down into there. One of the things that's kind of interesting about the Blood Angels too, and kind of like the Dark Angels, is they kind of go beyond chapter ties, where the Dark Angels, they have their inner circle and they have that kind of whole secret organization, and at times of war they'll actually all unite and call upon each other, and there's still all call Azrael supreme leader, or what do they call him? Forget what his title is. But yeah, the Blood Angels work in a very similar way, where the Sanguinary Guard actually broke out and into these chapters, and they still exist, and they have the Sanguinary Brotherhood. So it's kind of cool how they still have this, like, not only the genetic legacy, but they also have kind of the same personality, where the Ultramarines, they just get kind of scattered with personality and traits and abilities.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, so continuing on. In the millennia since, many further foundings have drawn upon the gene stock of Sanguinius. Each new chapter is a living testament to their Primarch's glory. Though time has brought divergence, some, like the angels in Encarmine, match the heroism and honor of the First Legion. Others have strayed, such as Carmine Blades, who long believed themselves scions of Gulliman, until a fateful meeting with Asterath the Grim revealed the truth, and gave name to the red thirst and the black rage that had haunted them in secret. The
Can we
sons
stop
of
right there? This
Yep.
was something that's crazy. I didn't know that, like, it was so far along in their timeline that they named this. Like, isn't Asterath the Grim like a 40k character? Maybe the chat will know. I see Christian. I don't know if he's frozen on the screen or just deeply thinking about the question.
I'm trying to look it up in the background.
Yeah. We'll come back to that. Yeah, so the chat's saying, yeah. So it's crazy that for 10,000 years, yeah, that they kind of didn't have names for these two iconic things. Like the Space Wolves had the Wolfen. They were set in their ways and are for a long time, stubborn pups.
Yeah. The sons of Sanguinius hold fast to unity in council, gathering in solemn conclave when the hour is dire, and often deferring to the Blood Angel's chapter master. Yet there are rare times when another voice leads. In the 35th millennium, when Lord Commander Kalael fell to the Black Rage, the Angels Sanguine and Angels Vermilion together bore the mantle of leadership, guiding the Sons through the perils of a war. Vanguard, the Chaos Incursion of Silas Gorehand, and the Nova Terra Interregnum. Again and again, the Bloodkin have stood shoulder to shoulder in war. In the 37th millennium, angels in carmine, blood drinkers, and blood angels crushed the demonic tide that followed a vast chaos cult uprising on Hell's Hollow. In the 40th, the Knights of Blood and Flesh terrors swept the Eldari from Kal-Ayath. Such brotherhood extends beyond their own line, whether holding the walls of Armageddon against endless orcs or saving the Cadian 35th on Helios Alpha. They have ever fought in loyal service to the Emperor's realm.
Yeah, cool. They're one of the most beloved, well-known chapters, both within the meta, the fan base or whatever, but also in the universe still.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just kind of reading maybe a little bit more and going back to that revealing the truth and giving the name to the Red Thirst and the Black Ridge. I think that was more just like telling other people about it. It wasn't like that was the first time it was coined.
Yeah,
It just seems
that's what I
like
was
in
gonna say. It
in
sounds
30K
more
it must.
poetic.
Yeah. Yeah, might have just been the way I read it originally and whatever. But anyways, yeah, going forward into the history, one thing I found, the Blood Angels they had their own ages that were different than like the age of the Imperium. Um, they
Hmm.
they were kind of sketchy, and we'll go through them. And there wasn't a lot of information on them either, but I thought they were cool. So the very first one was the Age of Golden Glory, and that was from M30 to M40. So just a brief 10,000 year period from their founding till, and then we have the Age of Red Wrath M41, and the Age of Black Despair M41, and the Era Indomitus. So then standard Imperial naming from M41 to M42. So pretty cool. Um, those should have maybe been spaced out a little better, but maybe if you go through all the history, it just starts to compound and blah blah blah.
I don't know. If I like Age of Golden Glory, to me that signifies like a golden age, which is usually pretty long. So I don't know exactly what happened in the Golden Glory, but I can see why they would make that longer than Red Wrath and Black Despair.
It's all propaganda.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
anyways, should we get into the War of the Beast in M32? The Blood Angels, alongside the valiant Nova Marines, brought low an orc attack moon in a deed of blazing glory. In the days that followed, a host under the steadfast Captain Valifor made pilgrimage to the throne world itself, there to lend their strength to Terra's cause in the noble advance upon Ulador. Sounds like fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I love them blowing up one of those attack moons. Like there trench runs involved,
Yeah, I was gonna say there are a
perhaps.
bunch of mini Death Stars running around.
It
um,
was their age of golden glory, so M32.
yeah. 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 During this is like a 10-book series. We've talked about the War of the Beast many times. This was just a brief little portion that they were involved in. Not everything they were involved in, but that was pretty cool. One day we'll do a War of the Beast kind of series episodes or whatever. But carrying on to the Seventh Black Crusade in M37.88 or 811. The Dark Powers unleashed the Seventh Black Crusade from the Eye of Terror led by Abaddon the Despoiler and his Black Legion. Emerging past Cadia, the forces of chaos vanished once more into the warp, giving their war an haunting epithet, the Ghost War. For years, the Imperium was ensnared in a cruel game of pursuit and evasion as chaos struck far-flung worlds with raids, deception, and terror. Eventually, the servants of the Dark Gods withdrew, having sown confusion and hardship, yet failing to shatter Imperial defenses. Ghost War, that's a cool title, and what they're up to. At Midian, the Blood Angels faced the full fury of Abaddon himself. Coronate berserkers assaulted the chapter's devastators with unstoppable ferocity, even as the Blood Angels' assault squads could not reclaim the fallen. Yet legends tell of the salvation by the mysterious chapter. The Canticle of Cassandria, Levi, volume CVI, recounts a gray-clad chapter from the outer night whose jagged ships devoured the darkness and struck at Abaddon's forces unseen. St. Levi writes, "Fell upon the servants of the Scald One with great fury from the darkness, unseen as the beast beneath the black waters, death for death, blood for blood. Thus were the sons of Sanguinius brought respite." The faces of these saviors remain obscured in the Frecosis of Hypatesis, the cemetery world commemorating the fallen, their identity lost to time. Scholars now classify them as a special probable encounter recorded sighting of a secretive Carcharodon chapter. So, kind of cool. That'd be a pretty crazy battle with fucking Blood Angels, Berserkers, and Carcharodons. Freed from Midian, the Blood Angels struck at the vast Black Legion warband on Macan. Though the chapters suffered near annihilation at the hands of Abaddon, the Sorcerer Lord Iskadan Kion and the Swordmaster Telemachon, Lyrus, and Reclusiarch Phalastian Joris earned rare renown, landing blows against the War Master himself. Enduring weeks of hardship, Joris preserved the remnants of his death company. At the decisive moment, led a lightning strike behind enemy lines, slaughtering Abaddon's honor guard. Joris finally locked blades with the Despoiler, leaving wounds that would endure 3 millennia later. Whether in mockery or respect, Abaddon is said to have honored Joris afterwards. The aftermath was grim. Many Blood Angels' bodies had been desecrated, their gene seed destroyed. Only a few survived undefiled. Reclusiarch Joris and his death company, encased in black ceramite, seated upon thrones fashioned from their enemies' armor, a testament to sacrifice, endurance, and the unyielding spirit of the sons of Sanguinius. Whew. What a fucking battle that is, and a way to remember them and all of it.
Yeah, crazy that he actually left a mark on Abaddon.
Yeah. There's a couple. This is a cool time period too. M37, pretty mythical. Like, none of these characters are around. Abaddon would still be around, and even he, I guess, is like, yeah, you could still see he's kind of walking with a limp from this.
That was a bad memory. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty cool. And then we jump to the Wars of Armageddon. This is another one. We've talked about them many times. The Wars for Armageddon are huge, but I don't feel like it was crucial to the Blood Angels. Like, yeah, they won renown, but it was not like... This was like, they wounded Abaddon. That's pretty cool, man. It was a pretty wild battle.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, like, Champion of Terra, First Black Templar. What's his name? Sigismund. Yeah, like, he was like the greatest Space Marine swordsman, and he managed to wound Abaddon, getting himself killed. Spoilers, but yeah, like, that's the level of Space Marine you have to be able to do damage to Abaddon. Like,
yeah,
I'm trying to not understate what kind of achievement that was.
Yeah, exactly. So like the Wars of Armageddon, they just didn't have that same. So yeah, we'll jump to the next one. So I didn't know about this, the Assault on Baal.
Assault on Baal, M41 798. The Blood Angels' homeworld of Baal came under attack from the works of Wa Big Scorcha. Though 2 of the 3 invading Orc space hulks were destroyed in orbit by the Blood Angels fleet and boarding parties, a third landed on the surface and disgorged thousands of Orcs. The defenses of the Blood Angels Fortress Monastery would have fallen if not for 41 dreadnoughts led by Furioso Astromel, who managed to hold off the Orcs long enough for reinforcements to arrive from orbit and mop up the remnant Orc forces. 41 dreadnoughts.
Hey, yeah, that's pretty fucking cool. Hey, but you ever wonder like which came first, this one or the Assault or Devastation of Baal? Like which one wrote first? Because didn't the Devastation of Baal have a huge dreadnought scene too, like this?
Yeah, I wonder.
Yeah,
Sometimes I think
yeah.
like a writer will take inspiration from something that already happened but wasn't super fleshed out. Like the Assault on Baal that we're
Mm.
reading about now was probably like a footnote in a codex. And then someone's writing their book and like, oh, that was really cool. We want to mimic that badassery. And then they kind of like
Bring it more forefront, and
yeah,
then now we have two massive dreadnought, like
battles.
homeworld dreadnought. But I guess like maybe all the dreadnoughts are on the homeworld, so like if
It
any
makes
chapter
sense.
homeworld
Yeah.
gets sure,
Ball
but
like how many dreadnoughts does one chapter typically have? Like 41 seems like
Excessive.
hell of a lot. Yeah.
Have a whole company's worth of dreadnoughts. I don't know that there's a definitive number because in theory it would be based on like A, what your chapter has for resources, B, do you have enough Marines that get injured enough to be interred in a dreadnought? And then over the course of history, how often are you losing those dreadnoughts? Like, I don't know that there's a stable number because it would vary so greatly between chapters.
Yeah.
And then some don't even have any. Like, I think the White Scars don't believe in dreadnoughts.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just pulling up the Ultramarines and doing a quick tally, seeing if I can find anything.
Just going through their roster. Yeah, but
Yeah,
even,
the first company has 3, then 2, 2, 4, 4, 3, 7. But those are active. So like, with dreadnoughts, they're active for brief periods and then they hibernate for years. So, you could almost triple that number pretty confidently and like
again though, like how do you know? Ultramarines are a good baseline for a lot of things, but
yeah.
like you said, Mark, how many are active in any one given period, right? Like they're assigned companies and stuff. How
Yeah.
many are not assigned to any company and they're just sleeping in their sarcophagi? And then
Yeah.
2, like again, how many heroes of your chapter over millennia have been injured enough not to die, but to justify being put in a dreadnought, right? Like those variables.
First of all, Christian, I'll have you know every Space Marine who dies is a hero, okay?
First of all, jot that down.
Jot that down. Yeah. But pretty cool battle.
Yeah. All right, let's get into the Callius insurrection. Unknown date in M40. The Blood Angels once again tasted the risk of annihilation, losing 9 out of every 10 Space Marines. Wow. And almost the entire chapter council. 3 full companies, including the young brother Captain Dante and his 8th company, launched a devastating assault on Callius Landing and its dependency worlds. In support of their overwhelmed successor brethren, the Angels Numinous, or more commonly known because of their symbol as the Blood Eagles. World after world rose up in rebellion, insurrection spreading across the region and blanketing the subsector. Entire populations and ragtag fleets were led into battle by chanting traitor Marines. Clad in a panoply of colors drawn from countless warbands, the Blood Angels found themselves tied up in a protracted conflict and trench wars, caught in a cobweb of a much wider heresy. Wow, they were almost extincted.
Yeah. By themselves too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This gives me pause because many chapters have been destroyed with fewer casualties and others have been rebuilding for years, like hundreds of years after, like the Imperial not the Imperial Fists, Crimson Fists, who are like marked by their almost death and they're in like a perpetual state of rebuilding from it.
Yeah.
So that's always interesting.
Well,
Um,
does that happen with the Blood Angels? Or are they? Do they like have to rebuild? Or are they all of a sudden super powerful again?
as we kind of mentioned with like the sanguinary brotherhood, the second, third, fourth, fifth, etc., all kind of band together and gave back some brothers and rebuilt
Okay.
quickly that way.
Yeah.
The Imperial Fist did a very similar thing too. Um,
Yeah. So then why are the Crimson Fists perpetually rebuilding?
so I feel like
Some
this is
people
the
are just
difference. Like
unlucky.
the Blood Angels are first founding legion, and they have that sanguinary brotherhood where it's like they're communicating with all the chapters below them, where they technically shouldn't be. Legally speaking, if Warhammer Legal was to get involved, they would have some questions for that situation.
The Inquisition has
But
some questions, yes.
yeah, um, yeah, Warhammer Legal just wants to know how you do it, so I can get away with it too. Marquino has, yeah. So that's one of the ways or reasons why I think like you just can't let the founder legion die,
Yeah.
and then you have those ties and Crimson Fist, yeah, they're second founding, but ultimately like
Still not the same prestige, yeah. Because
yeah,
like you said, the
like
same
you
thing
could
happened to
maybe
Imperial Fists too.
yeah, and like the Crimson Fist could maybe ask the Imperial Fist for like 100 battle brothers, and they're like, sorry man, we're in the pain glove right now,
We're tapped.
throwing ourselves in trenches. We're busy.
Yeah. Fair.
Yeah. This whole incident is a novel series. It's a 4-book series.
A whole
DSN,
series, not just a single book.
yeah, I believe so. Or maybe this character is featured in a couple, and this was just one of the books. Maybe I should have sourced that a little better. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head here, but um, DSN Carmine, DS Sanguinius, Red Fury, and the Black Tide. Pick them up. You'll want to learn about this anyways. It's about that Raytheon character and just kind of his adventures. Because he goes and does some cool stuff from, the whole chapter kind of gets wiped out. And then he goes on kind of this whole crusade to make Fabius Bile pay. And that's his whole other incident and story arc there.
Yeah.
It's also cool to
As the
see Captain Dante, who will become an important figure later on in Blood Angel history. But to see him at a lower rank, it's funny.
Yeah. At a young age of 900 years, sweet Dante.
As the weeks became months and the months became years, more and more of the chapter arrived to punish, cleanse, and reclaim the rebellious worlds. The rolls of honor run black with the ink of millions of enemies slain. But the Blood Angels suffered casualties beyond their ability to sustain a fighting front, with dozens of Imperial Guard regiments arriving alongside several relief chapters. The Blood Angels withdrew from the conflict with their heads held high. Yet the bitterness blow was yet to be struck. It came as the remnants of their fleet mustered above Callius's landing itself, when a traitor armada broke from the warp, hungry for the chance to wipe the angels from the face of the Imperium. The battle that followed lasted for 3 days of void war, a vicious boarding action, during which Dante and his warriors were responsible for the taking and scuttling of 7 capital class vessels. When the Blood Angels at last stood victorious and took stock of their losses, fewer than 200 Space Marines clad in red still drew breath. The last surviving sanguinary priests and chaplains came together in communion, electing the last living captain as the next chapter master. Dante accepted the mantle of Lord of the Angelic Host, while still wearing his blood-stained, broken armor. It would be the last day he ever wore red, forever after to be clad in sacred gold, not because he was the best or the brightest, but purely because he was the last man standing. Such an ascension would have heralded a grim rule, but fate would tell a different tale.
So we learn more about Dante. This is kind of his situation. How do you feel about they kind of slander him there. Like he's like not because he was the best, or he just kind of got put there because he was one of the last guys left. If you're 1,600 years old, you'd fucking have to be one of the best, I would imagine.
We're really good at hiding.
Or yeah,
You're either the best or the worst.
yeah, he's always like vampire caping away. Fuck. Okay, yeah, pretty cool backstory for him though. Pretty crazy incident that just kind of happens to a chapter in M40 that you never really hear about. Carrying on to the next bit is the Archeo insurrection.
Sorry, I lost my place in the notes. M41 900. Born upon the harsh sands of Baal Secundus, Raffin was the son of a tribal chieftain and brother to Archeo. Together, they strove as aspirants in the Blood Angel's sacred blood trials, seeking the honor of becoming neophytes. When Sergeant Chorus set before Raffin a trial that seemed simple, he faltered and, stricken with despair, walked into the desert to embrace death for his failure. Yet fate turned. The Thunderhawk-bearing Chorus, Archeo, and the victorious aspirants was seized by a violent storm and crashed near Raffin's path. Without hesitation, he rushed to their aid, standing beside Chorus against the feral beasts drawn to the wreck. In that hour, his courage saved Space Marine and aspirant alike, and with the loss of others in the crash, a place among the chosen was granted to Raffin. Rising swiftly through the chapter's ranks, Raffin became a sergeant, his service marked by trials both glorious and grievous. When the shadow of treachery fell, he stood at the heart of the storm, facing the false rebirth of Sanguinius in Archeo, a deception wrought by the heretic inquisitor Remius Steele, servant of Chinch. Twisted by warp-spawned corruption, Archeo became the instrument of a plot to enslave the Blood Angels to chaos. On the shrine world of Sabian, Raffin bore the unendurable burden of slaying his own brother, an act that preserved his chapter from damnation. His valor endured in the defense of Baal itself when Fabius Bile, traitor even to his own kind, assailed the Blood Angels' fortress monastery. With victory won, Lord Commander Dante charged Raffin with the sacred quest to reclaim a stolen phial of Sanguinius' blood, taken by Bile during a conclave with the Sanguinary Brotherhood. Thereafter, Raffin's path was set to hunt the apostate apothecary and visit upon him the death his crimes had earned.
Pretty fucking cool looking though. I have pulled up, if you're watching us on video, just a picture of Archeo and his angel wings. Very sanguinesque. Very, very sanguinesque indeed.
I don't know if sanguinesque is a word, but it is now, and I love it.
Yeah. This is another crazy incident. I feel like the Blood Angels are just getting into scraps all over the place with themselves. It feels like almost like, yeah, maybe they have a temper. Hard to say.
Yeah, they definitely have a streak. It's almost like is it the Blood Ravens who always end up having a traitor in their midst?
Yeah. Couldn't be that rage. Couldn't be. No.
You don't have some kind of defect that would make them turn chaos a lot, would there?
Nah.
Not the angels.
Not the angels.
All right. The 13th Black Crusade and the Imperium Nihilist, M41 999. The Blood Angels contribute 4 companies to battle against Abaddon the Despoiler's 13th Black Crusade. They are deployed to push back Chaos forces advancing on Agrippina and seek out their leader. In addition, Astarath and the other captains commanded the defense of the Diamor system in the Diamor campaign. But Abaddon's larger plans succeeded, and the galaxy is torn asunder, separating half the galaxy from Terra. Following the 13th Black Crusade and the resurrection of Rabu Kilimin, the Great Rift divides the Imperium in 2. Baal and the bulk of the Blood Angels are left stranded, in the Dark Imperium. The Imperium Nihilist.
Oh, sorry, Jordan, I misspelled that.
Nihilist.
Nihilist.
Oh,
That's my bad.
Nihilist. I was
Yeah.
thinking that was it. I was like, is this Nihilist? Okay.
Yeah.
It's spelled
that's
nil
my bad.
shit.
Oh man, that's funny. Yeah, so pretty crazy moment again. The Blood Angels had a little tiny part in the 13th Black Crusade, but the outcome was on the galaxy. It was ripped in half. And now we got the Dark Imperium.
Could you imagine like witnessing the Great Rift like pulling an entire galaxy in half? Like what a sight that would be.
Yeah, it's just like cracking across the sky, this purple.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think it made like a noise at all? Like was there like a death scream or something howling from the warp?
I don't know.
Like in
Did anyone describe it in a book? Make it canon?
like Rule of
Sure.
Cool says, of course there was. I mean, there's no sound in
And
space.
every planet felt it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it could have been like a psychic scream. Like all the psychers definitely would have heard or felt something.
Yeah.
During the Great Rift, you guys would probably know better. Was there like any planets that were ripped apart that were in the pathway of the rift?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah, like there's no like good examples, you know. I'm always like, yeah, the Blood Angels happened that, or the Ultramarines, but yeah, all the legions managed to survive. Everyone important survived. Yeah. I guess Cadia was destroyed, but that was like, you know, the start of the tear. You know, some could say it was Cadia's fault for not fully standing up to Abaddon and letting this happen. But that's just one humble podcaster's opinion.
They got their just desserts.
Now let's go to the devastation of Baal, where they get their just desserts in M42. After giving the shield worlds of the Cryptus system as a noble sacrifice to delay the Xenos' first advance upon the Baal system, the sacred world of Baal itself was assailed by High Fleet Leviathan. The Tyranid swarm, immense even after grievous losses, blotted out the stars in the heavens. Lord Commander Dante strengthened the venerable defenses of his homeworld and its moons as never before. Not content to wait, he dispatched numerous preemptive forces to harry, mislead, and diminish the living armada, cutting down hundreds of splinter fleets. Dante's summons pleading for the Blood Angels' successor chapters was met with swift obedience. The Flesh Terrors led the charge, and nearly all successor chapters, save the Lamenters, answered the call. And they lament that, I'll have you know. Even the Knights of Blood, excommunicated though they were, came to bolster the defenses. Yet even this courage was not enough. Learning with terrifying swiftness High Fleet Leviathan could not be fooled twice, their relentless advance cleansed the surrounding sector of light before the Xenos reached Baal of its twin moon and its twin moons. The first 19 waves, each vaster than the last, were repelled at staggering cost by the Blood Angels and their allies in the Sanguinary Brotherhood. 5 chapter masters fell in the bitter struggle, 3 at the Dome of Angels alone. I think we'll learn more about that later on. The Tyranids began the grim work of consuming all biomass from Baal and her moons, even stripping the radiation-scarred deserts of Baal Secundus. With defenses shattered and the moons ravaged, the remaining Space Marines fell back to the ruins of the Fortress Monastery, preparing for a final stand as the next wave descended. Doom seemed almost absolute for the sons of Sanguinius. Then, the Great Rift tore through the galaxy, asunder in the wake of Cadia's fall in the 13th Black Crusade, and the withered Baal system was bathed in the etheric storms. No further Tyranid waves followed, though not a single Imperial defender stood upon the last moon, Baal Prime. On Baal itself, the Tyranids' numbers threatened annihilation, yet Commander Dante led his warriors onward. Each retreat fought with the valor of angels against the impossible. As the final perimeter fell, the stars reappeared. The Tyranids of all sought their hive fleet, only to find it vanished, replaced with a newly arrived Imperial Armada. Like the shining angel avengers for Guilliman and his Indominus crusade descended after countless engagement, Baal was finally purged of Xenos, and the vast restoration of the homeworld had begun in the chapter. For the Blood Angels and their successors were needed across the imperiled Imperium. The fate of Leviathan remains unknown, though the Baron Baal Prime haunting the kid. I feel like I miswrote some of this. Sometimes I wrote things through chatbot to like spice up my language. Didn't like the Blood Angels like get the planet get invaded here too? The fate of Baal remains unknown, though on the Baron Ball Prime, a haunting clue was left. Xeno's skulls paled impossibly high on dread eight-piled symbol of one of the Blood Angel's most ancient and terrible foes, the Bloodthirsters, Cabanda's host of Coronite demons. I thought they were way more influential, and maybe that should have been highlighted a little bit more here. 8th edition, like the main 8th edition core rulebook, is this whole battle and information on there and stuff. And then they did some campaign books too, the Devastation of Baal, I believe. But
this is almost reminiscent of the Ultramarines when they were also almost wiped out by Tyranids as well. So it's kind of cool to see them, to see some Tyranid wins for once.
Yeah.
And then, oh no, they were screwed over by the Warp Rift.
Yeah, then a long enemy of the Blood Angels, Kabanda, came back and sowed revenge, but like helped them. I got to read those campaign books. I'm sure they word it much more eloquently. You know, any 8th edition stuff and beyond is just
chef's kiss. Yes. All right. Well, let's continue on with the Indominus Crusade. Rabote Guilliman and Archimagos Belisarius Call came to Baal bearing a gift worthy of kings. From the hibernation vaults of Call's vast freighter hulk, the Tsar Quaesitor, emerged hundreds of Primaris Space Marines. Clad in the colors of the Blood Angels, the Blood Drinkers, the Flesh Terrors, and others, these paragons of war, heirs to the Primarchs, brought death to the last Tyranid swarms. They came as saviors to their shattered brethren, filling the ranks of their Adeptus chapters and bringing with them the sacred lore to forge yet more warriors of their kind. The sons of Sanguinius embraced this aid with honor, for their need was great. Commander Dante, who had expected to see his chapters end and face it unbroken, now bent the knee before the returned Primarch, his hearts full of gratitude. When Guilliman named him regent of the Imperium Nihilus, Dante felt the weight of destiny upon his shoulders. With the Great Rift's fury unleashed, a darkness older than and deeper than any now encircles the Imperium, and the Blood Angels must stand as a final bastion with terrors thrown at their backs. Yeah, that's pretty significant. Like Dante, chapter master of the Blood Angels, I'm gonna say one of the oldest living Space Marines, because that's always gets thrown up for debate whenever Dante comes up and his age. But he is the oldest, or one of the oldest living Space Marines. Pretty much gets anointed as like a regent on like the level of a Primarch. Like he's in control of half the galaxy.
Yeah. Well, like fuck, he's older than the Primarchs by like 1,000 years.
Yeah. No, I'm by no means. I absolutely love the lore behind that. Where like someone's got to be in charge on the dark side of the Imperium, and he anoints Dante, who's got this like angelic form and like golden armor. Like I think it's fitting.
I wonder how much that changes his role on the battlefield. Like now he's more of like the figurehead, so he's not charging anymore. Like where he almost had a death wish, maybe not a death wish, but he's definitely not.
Pretty close, I think. Yeah, like Dante's character, like he is old, he's tired, like he just wants to be done, but he feels like this pull of history, almost like Sanguinius, where like, oh, your fate isn't here, it's elsewhere. But I don't think he knows what it is the way Sanguinius kind of foresaw his own death. Dante's like, man, I just want to die. I'm so done with this. I'm so tired. And yeah. And I think you're right. Like
just the beginning.
Yeah, would he be too risky now to be fielded on the battlefield anymore? from like a frontline role, but then again, he is a Space Marine, so
Yeah.
he would definitely be a high value target if he does. With the Primaris came new.
Just wearing his golden armor, all gold.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that Space Marines really try to stay hidden much across the board.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
With the Primaris came new purpose and the faint glimmer that the sons of the angel might endure, rather than gutter and fade. Amongst the Blood Angels, it is said that Dante has never stood taller, even in the shadow of despair. As regent, he has sworn to scour his blighted realm of chaos, though it take 1,000 years or more. For in the blackest night, the golden angels of Baal burn with their brightest light.
Well, shit, I guess that's how he feels about it. Just to sign me up for another 1,000.
Yeah, like that's the cool thing about him is like he accepts the burden. He accepts the burden of destiny. Like he is tired. He's done. He's seen it all. He's done with all of this, and he's like, "All right, I guess we'll just keep going."
Cool.
All right, let's excuse me. Let's get into the homeworlds. So some notable locations for Baal proper. First one here is Arx Angelicum. It is a fortress monastery of the Blood Angels located upon Baal. And then you got the Holy Sepulchre and the Golden Sarcophagus. The tomb of Primarch Sanguinius of the Blood Angels Legion. The Golden Sarcophagus is a large spherical structure on Baal that is slightly translucent with golden light emanating from it. The sarcophagus is where Sanguinius was laid to rest after his death at the hands of arch-traitor Horus during the siege of Terra.
Pour one out for Sanguinius, you know. Respect.
Yep. Ruberica in the heart of Baal. Also known as the Heart of Baal, Ruberica is a deep underground cavern and a place considered sacred by the people of the planet. The cavern is lined with tall hexagonal pillars of pure bloodstone, and it is a place of great psychic resonance. The cavern seems to have a mind or intelligence of its own, and is known to repair itself when damaged through some unknown means. Interesting. Nanobots, that's what.
Yes.
Necron.
Nanobots in the soil.
It's the Necron.
Yeah, Necron, yeah.
There was an episode we've always kind of mentioned doing. It's spirit worlds or world spirits. And this is kind of almost another example of almost like a living planet or almost like a soul, or it's almost even almost soul stone-ish, but not quite. But almost more that world spirit.
Similar vibes for sure, yeah. Yeah, like could it be the same phenomena? We don't know.
Yeah, but I'll definitely be jotting this down for future analysis.
Analysis.
I will be penetrating that cave for information. And then I will pull out of the cave and explode information all over the airwaves.
Awful stuff.
Continuing right along. So the next one is Skyfall. It is a planetoid-size, ultra-scale starport, orbital fleet dock, shipyard, and defensive void station of the Blood Angels chapter that is located within the Baal system, in the orbit of Baal itself. Its surface is etched with a star map of the Imperium, the statue of an angel 20 miles tall. Wow, that is a statue. With a sword another 7 miles long.
Now that is a statue.
Held aloft above its head stands atop the starport. How big is the statue of its dick?
Well, Sanguinius was the best amongst us.
Yes. He was known for...
But he was also an angel, so maybe he was like a Ken doll down there. I don't know.
It's funny that they Skyfall is a cool name, don't get me wrong, but it's funny that they call it Skyfall. It's like naming your greatest ship Sink ship.
Yeah, the drowning ship.
Yeah.
Notable locations of Baal Prime. Balin's Necklace. It is a mountain range that stretches across the moon, created by the collision of the Great Orbital Station with the moon in the ancient times of civil war between Baal Prime and Baal Secundus. Its caverns are infested with mutant horrors that are highly radioactive, and the local Baalites avoid it. Felholm is a hall found within the ruins of the wrecked orbital station in Baalin's Necklace, where the history of the ancient civil war between Baal Primus and Baal Secundus was written. Austin Galil, a native of Baal Prime and later founder of the Sanguinary Brotherhood chapter of the Knights of Blood, explored Felholm and recorded its history in his chronicles. That's kind of sweet, like a hall with like the history written all over it, like I don't know, kind of almost like hieroglyphic. Not hieroglyphic, but in the sense that you have like a structure where you're writing the entire history.
Yeah,
It's kind of
yeah,
cool.
yeah. Yeah, and it could just be this ancient place, thousands of years old, layers of dust and dirt covering it. Like Christian's background there. Full of
Except real.
yeah, exactly. Um yeah, that's fun. They in the Age of Darkness or whatever, they had their orbital stations fall on moons and create these massive wrecks, these landscapes. And then yeah, they go and make the Skyfall orbital station after. So really just doubling down on
Let's raise up the Titanic and build the new ship, drown ship. After
it.
it's ruptured.
Out of its wreck. It will be more sturdy than before. Yeah, fucking tight. I love it. Notable locations on Baal Secundus. Angel's Fall. As already mentioned, Angel's Fall site near the cliff where Sanguinius' gestation capsule had first been discovered by the people of the Blood, still served as the moon's primary settlement and the place where all trials to join the Blood Angels were carried out. A great statue of Sanguinius now oversees these proceedings. Mount Seraph. A natural amphitheater had been carved into the mountain known as Mount Seraph to serve as the meeting place for these tribes. Cool, just kind of this like place. Cool. Celltown. Celltown is a local trading settlement used by the Baelite tribes to carry out rudimentary trade and commerce. Much of the artifacts scavenged from the Baelite ruins. The Great Salt Wastes. The Great Salt Wastes in the harshest stretch of the desert on Baal Secundus, and its remains of what was once likely an ancient sea. Cool. Salttown would be a pretty cool place. Like this planet had a lot. It was described as having a lot of Dark Age tech on it and having just like massive stuff before its own little mini apocalypse. So it's all just ruins that you can scavenge and then go and explore,
Yeah, all of
find cool stuff.
Ball, especially before the Primarch, really reminds me of Mad Max. Kind of like Cell Town sounds like a name of a town in that kind of environment with like scavengers and
Yeah.
like vast desert.
Bullet Town, Cell Town.
Right, exactly,
Yeah.
right? Like it's in the same vibe, same theme.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the flora and fauna, which I can't imagine there will be much of. Baal Secundus is a realm where only the fiercest of creation endures, its surface stalked by beasts and plants wrought by the crucible of its unforgiving climate. Foremost among these perils are the Baalite fire scorpions, towering monsters twice the height of a man, whose venom is a searing acidic bane, able to dissolve flesh in the span of a single heartbeat. Other predators haunt the wastes as well, the crimson-winged blood eagles, the hidden jaws of trap clams, and the patient ensnaring catch spiders. Yet even the plants are as deadly as the beasts. The dreaded thrustwater, a carnivorous growth known to the tribes of the blood, clings to its victims and drains every precious drop of life's moisture, leaving only a husk before escape is possible. It's not a very nice planet, as are many recruiting worlds for Space Marines.
Yeah. A couple wild things about this planet. You know, numbers are always whatever. We can make fun of GW numbers, but the population of Baal pre-devastation was 122,000, and that was keeping the Blood Angels chapter going. We've talked about like Oh, Earth wouldn't even have enough to make a chapter, and like, man, what do you do? Is all. What do you do with such information? Did I just ruin somebody's day? Maybe. I ruined mine when I found out.
I'm immediately trying to rationalize it. So yes.
Yeah. What do you do though, man? They got a lot of predators there. It's technically classified as like a death world, just like Catachan or whatever. So like, yeah, it's
Yeah.
not a nice place. Hard to live.
To be fair, also,
Not a lot of
like,
people.
it's, even to survive on a death world, like, breeds a hardier person regardless. So like from the recruitment pool, you'll still have better odds, but still, that's a very small population.
Yeah, and then I wonder too, even just with the way they're mutants and they get transformed by the blood of Sanguinius, as we'll find out later.
Yeah,
If that helps, like with that increases the success rate. Maybe we need to pull up somebody in the chat should pull up Death Watch. They had great uh success rate for gene seed and stuff during chapter creation. Do you remember ever looking at that stuff?
death, like in the chapter book or the
Yeah, it was like the
RPG.
Fantasy Flight
Yeah,
games, like during the specific campaign book that you could create your own chapter. They had all this like custom chapter info.
yeah, I remember
But
that. I'm looking,
yeah.
see if I can find it fast enough.
Well, anyways, let's learn about these people and maybe we'll find out some information.
Yeah, so the inhabitants, the peoples of Baal Prime and Baal Secundus bore the terrible legacy of an ancient war that had scarred both moons beyond healing. In time, they became degenerate, twisted, and frail, their bodies marked by mutation and sickness. The survivors gathered into semi nomadic tribes, wandering the wastelands with what relics of knowledge they had preserved: rad counters, rad suits to shield against the poisoned winds, rugged vehicles, and weapons of a more advanced age. Many tribes descended into savagery, turning to cannibalism and falling ever deeper into corruption under the slow corruption of radiation, toxins, and ancient plagues. Yet one people, steadfast amid the ruin, kept to a nobler path. They were the ones of pure blood, or simply the blood, whose spirit endured untainted. After the Horus heresy, a colony of the blood was founded upon Baal Prime. Its purpose strengthened and expanded the blood angels' pool of aspirants. There they lived as their kin upon Baal Secundus, nomadic, tribal, and ever watchful beneath the red skies of their birth worlds.
Cool. Yeah, just some hardy mutant type people or pure blooded, I guess some of them. But when you say pure blooded to me, I think they fucking each other's cousins. But whatever.
It does give that vibe,
But
yes.
yeah.
I was gonna say too, I guess all the mutant ones, little known fact is there's another chapter that recruits from Baal. They're called the Crips, and they're eternally at war with the Blood. Sorry, bad joke.
Fuck.
Bad
No, I
joke.
loved it. Somebody needs to do a guard regiment on this all. Yes. I found that thing. It was not exactly what I was thinking, but based on the chapter's progenitor, how likely are to suffer any gene seed mutation. So this was how likely they were actually going to suffer something like missing gene seed, like spitting or whatever. Like, it wasn't the success rate of the candidate. So
Yeah.
that's
Also,
what you get for reading a book 10 years ago.
you misremember some things. Also to note on that fact as well, like if you're counting like things like the Black Rage or the Red Thirst, like those are pretty significant flaws as they are. But it's kind of different kind of flaw than like your homophagia not working.
Yeah. Like, it's more like quirky.
Blood Angels are
know?
just pick-me's, yeah.
Yeah. All right, the recruitment process. I mentioned last time we talked about the Blood Angels. I'm not sure like when the change happened exactly, when they went from angels to sleeping in sarcophaguses. It could have been instantly, but at one point they were angels and now they're vampires. And just doing the recruitment, at some point they go more and more vampiric. And 10,000 years later, it's quite the different process, I think. But it's hard to actually define. I read a couple places, hard to really kind of narrow it down. But anyways, since the age of Sanguinius, the Blood Angels have drawn their recruits from the greatest tribes of the Blood Angel on Baal Secundus and Baal Prime, the latter home to the colony founded soon after the Horus Heresy. In youth, the Blood proved themselves in grand games and perilous tournaments, racing across the burning deserts, battling one another in feats of courage. These trials, a time of challenge, are held but once each generation at Angel's Fall on Baal Secundus, where the statue of Sanguinius watches in eternal silence. Heralds arrive in great flying chariots, and the Thunderhawks of the chapter to proclaim contest. Those who would compete must first cross the Rad Deserts, where only the most skilled and fearless survive, to reach the Palace of Challenge, the place of challenge. From there, they fight for the 50 places granted each generation. The chosen are borne away in the sky chariots, the rest remain to guard the Angel's Fall or return to their tribes. The victorious aspirants are taken to Arx Angelicum on Baal itself. There they behold wonders and gaze upon the unmasked faces of their brothers. Faces beautiful and sharp of feature, with the telltale elongated canines of their lineage. By contrast, the aspirants arrive gaunt and marked by hardship, short and stunted by hunger, bearing lesions, stigmata, and a slow corruption of Baal's radiation. Their vigil begins in the chapter's great chapel. There, a sanguinary priest presents the red grail, bidding them to drink the blood of their Primarch. Sleep calms them, and they are borne to the apothecarion, where the gene seed of Sanguinius is implanted into their unconscious forms. From there, they are placed within golden sarcophagi, sustained for a Terran year by life support and the blood of Sanguinius. While their bodies are remade, new organs forming, muscles and stature growing in swift echo of their Primarch's perfection. Many perish in this crucible, their mortal flesh unable to bear the strain. Those who survive are gifted with visions, for the blood and the seed of the angel lie fragments of his memory. In dreams and at the times of waking, they walk in their shadows, feeling the echo's presence within their soul.
Yeah, so that kind of, I think, answers our question, though, because they do come in sickly and irradiated, and they actually have a whole year of gestation that, elevates them even, beyond, I don't want to say beyond a Space Marine, but, beyond what a normal human would have to become a Space Marine, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a cool ritual. It's probably the best one of all of them, maybe. Other Space Marine chapters are like, we're going to do surgery on you. No painkillers. Also, I'm going to punch you in the dick now. Boom! And then,
and if you survive, maybe you'll become a Space Marine. Yeah.
Exactly. At least they get knocked out. They get haunted by memories. It's pretty mythical, too. We got the Holy Grail, and the blood of Jesus and all that, and that'll heal you and all that. I struggle sometimes with how do they keep that thing full, but then I also think it's magical Sanguinius blood that could potentially be warp fueled, so.
Yeah. There's any number of ways you can cut it. It could just be mystical, somehow blood just keeps coming, or it could be pseudoscientific, where they're able to clone the blood or mix it with other chemicals to make it last. Or they're literally draining Sanguinius' corpse because they got his body. But eventually you'd run out of blood, you'd think.
Yeah. But you're right. No, it could be a genetic match of his or whatever, like a cloned one, a lab one. That kind of tech does exist in theory in 40K. So.
Or Jordan joked earlier, transubstantiation. Literally they lift it up and say a prayer to the Emperor, and then suddenly there's angel blood.
I fucking love
warp
that.
turns it into real blood. Yeah.
The warp giveth.
Starting to sound
Wait, did we just start a cult?
Apostle, yeah.
Yeah. Pretty cool. When they at last emerge, they stand transformed, tall, strong, and angelically beautiful, with senses sharpened beyond mortal kin and strength to match tempered steel. Thus begins their life as a neophyte of the chapter, joining the scout companies to earn their place among the sons of Sanguinius. And I would imagine most chapters don't do this aspect. Like, this is like the Blood Angel thing because their population is like messed up. Like, not all chapters need this red grail. It's not like the cup of the Wolfen or whatever, where it like it's the key to unlocking them. This is like this cures them.
Yeah. Do their successor chapters also practice this ritual, you'd think?
No, like some might, like maybe the ritual and they're drinking some type of blood, maybe the blood of their enemy, maybe in the symbolic form. But like I said, they don't need the actual healing
Sure,
aspect of
but
it.
even as a tradition, like if you're a successor, that's
Yeah.
a pretty significant tradition.
I agree with that for sure. But then once again, like, how do we have so much blood? Like, now we're going into success. Where
does the blood keep coming from? Yeah.
Yeah. We got psych out grenades where it's like the Emperor's like excesses or whatever from the throne. We got Sanguinius's blood. Fuck.
Where's all
Lots
these
of ooze.
human remains coming from? Yeah.
I don't even think my baby makes this much of a mess, and that thing's making
all kinds of fluids. It also kind of reminds me of like Captain America's ascension. Like he goes in that sarcophagus pod and then emerges. Like he's sickly and weak and small, and then suddenly emerges like elevated. Same vibes for sure.
I love that.
All right. Let's break into some of their gene seed. Among the sons of Sanguinius, there runs a solemn curse, the red thirst, a deep gnawing craving for the lifeblood of man. It brings no sustenance, yet without it their bodies weaken, their spirits wane, and the centuries weigh upon them like chains. Even the venerable commander Dante, abstaining for ages in penance, grew lined and frail until at the siege of Baal in 999 M41, his resolve broke. Drinking the life from a loyal servant who perished in the act, he rose renewed, body and will rekindled for war. Yet those who yield wholly to the thirst are twisted into bestial parodies of themselves, fanged and hunched, their noble forms lost. To stave the curse, the blood angels drink from willing serfs, often mixing the gift with wine in the ritual draught, Karash. Yet their heart knows the truth. Blood drawn warm from the living carries a rapture that no stored vessel can match. The darker hours, even allies have fallen beneath their hunger. Among their kin, the blood drinkers enact the dread rite of hollows, ending with the devouring of a single captive whose death brings more ecstasy than 100 offerings. Darker still is the black rage, a vision frenzy in which the afflicted believe themselves as Sanguinius himself, locked in the final struggle with Horus. Friend and foe become indistinct, and even battle brothers may fall to their hand. It is incurable. Those claimed are sent either to the Tower of the Lost or to the Death Company, where they seek release in glorious sacrifice. The twin afflictions are debated fiercely. Some see their roots in the sacred insanguination, others in Baal's poison and mutations, or in the overcharged homophagia that binds them too strongly to memory. Whatever the cause, both are shrouded in secrecy. Though by the end of the 41st millennium, even Gilliman himself knows the truth. The blood angels ease the torment through the pursuit of art, tempering the beast within the beauty. Those who abandon this practice, as the angel's penitent did, suffer the curse all the more swiftly. The red thirst predates even the heresy, its shadow falling upon Sanguinius himself. The Black Rage was born with his martyrdom. Even the new forged Primaris are not wholly free from these legacies. For Kaul, believing them part of the Emperor's design, chose not to erase them. Yet, so the Death Company remains, its ranks filled with angels doomed yet unbroken, meeting their fate in the fire of battle.
The chat says that Tyrannid looks like Horus. Like what Kaul says. That's funny.
Just hundreds of Horuses all over the battlefield. Is it Horuses or Horusi?
Yes. That's enough to start a heresy in and of itself.
Or is it like moose? It's just Horus is a plural of Horus. There are many Horus in the heresies. Yes.
All right, guys, a game of would you rather. Black Rage or the Thirst? Which one?
Absolutely the Thirst. It's not fatal.
The red.
Well, Christian, you're in luck. You can start drinking blood anytime, buddy.
I already did. Just
drink enough. Okay, good.
Yeah, but your life, if you can't get access to blood, perhaps your life would be a torture worse than
Jordan,
death.
I always have
Yeah.
access to blood.
Okay.
He's
That-
got 10 kids.
That
He's
is
always
not a
got access
problem
to
for
blood.
me.
That's why he has them.
That's why he has them. Red 77 says he wants the red thirst. Yeah, with the red thirst does come like longevity, and that is canonical for the Blood Angels. And Dante, he tries to like cut off blood for a hot minute, hot 100 years or whatever, and that's when his hair goes gray and he really starts to feel it. I don't know if they ever put like a date on when he does that, but yeah.
All right, the Blood Angels Curse Breakers. Mephiston, originally brother Calistarius, a Blood Angels librarian of some ability and strength of character. He was also almost overcome by the curse when part of the relief force for Hades' hive during the Second War for Armageddon, where, having suffered for 7 days and nights trapped in the rubble of the collapsed Ecclesorium building, a vision of Sanguinius helped him fight off the effects. He was reborn as Mephiston, the Lord of Death, and with his full psychic potential unlocked, quickly achieved the position of chief librarian. He is seen as the spiritual son of Sanguinius, a figure of hope to his chapter. He is now considered to be the most powerful librarian in the Astartes, and possibly the most powerful psyker in the Imperium, after the Emperor himself. Wow, that's quite the feat.
Bold claim. Yeah, I could name 10 librarians knocking on the door of Ball
Oh,
right
yeah.
now. Yeah,
I mean, if you were that powerful, I wonder if like delusions of grandeur would tempt you, and would you more easily fall to chaos? But I don't know, just a
sure.
thought.
Yeah. But he's also super strong-willed and was able to beat the Black Rage. He definitely
Yeah.
beat the Black Rage. The next person we talk about is a little more debatable. I think it could be like, were you just having a bad day? Where I think
Hmm.
Mephiston was, yeah, like he has mastered it.
Yeah, and that next person is Raffin, a battle brother later promoted to sergeant. Raffin had to kill his actual sibling and fellow Blood Angels Astartes, Archeo, who was claiming to be Sanguinius reborn, but was in reality deceived by chaos, having been made through chaotic mutation into a likeness of Sanguinius. Raffin then had to succumb to the gene's curse to unleash the power of the Holy Spear of Telesto, a weapon wielded by Sanguinius himself, in order to defeat Malphalax, a lord of change who had deceived Archeo. However, he was eventually able to pull himself to the surface of his consciousness, and also succeeded in helping Mephiston defeat the Black Rage within in himself for a second time.
Yeah. So once again, this is like a 4-book series. This character, I believe. So you could go in and like maybe somebody in the chats read these and seen how he really they describe that whole situation. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of like it more where Mephiston is the only one who's been able to master it. And it is because he is some like crazy powerful psyker and like yeah. Uh, jump into the successor chapters. Um, more gene seed lineage stuff. The Blood Angels Legion gave rise to at least 5 second founding chapters, and the chapter themselves, they sired 2 more. Across the millennia, many successors have risen and many have been lost. All bear the same burden: the Black Rage, the Red Thirst, and the unyielding grief for their martyred Primarch, haunted by visions of his final sacrifice. Some suffer the curse more keenly than others, yet those born of later foundings endured it most fiercely, their minds perilously close to the brink. Though once thought purged from the gene stock, the flaw's shadow returned, condemning the youngest sons of Sanguinius to fall into madness, but with the smallest spark of provocation. This shared curse forges an unbreakable bond between parent and progeny. The death of Sanguinius is not a distant myth to them, but a living memory that rises in moments of greatest peril, binding them as one brotherhood. To strike as any chapter of their bloodline is to incur the wrath of all of the sons of Sanguinius. These ties grow ever closer after the devastation of Baal, when the great conclaves of the sanguinary brotherhood were convened to guide the course of the Blood Angels and their kin, deciding together the fates of the chapters in their unity and remembrance. Yeah, pretty cool. I like that they're kind of tied like this. They were opposed to this kind of situation, so it's to the Codex Astartes. So it's nice that they broke it in a number of ways. And it just makes sense. Like, I love that, like, it's not just a myth to them, like they live this moment of death over and over potentially.
Yeah.
It's real, Dad.
Yeah, that's true. Like, they're the only ones that could actually, and who knows, like, how accurate the affliction is, but like they're seeing through the eyes of their Primarch. Like they can see Horus. They can see, like, their hands is like Sanguinius's hands. Like they are inhabiting
like this. Yeah, like this was an intentional thing done to them, like yeah. So think of it being very bad then.
All right, let's get into their organization. To some, it may seem strange that a legion so steeped in proud traditions would surrender its individuality. Yet the cataclysm of the Horus heresy had shaken the Blood Angels to their very soul. Stricken by grief and burdened with new shadows, they were among the first to embrace Rabot Guilliman's Codex Astartes. In the wake of Horus's defeat and the martyrdom of Sanguinius, the Legion was left without a clear heir. Rivalries arose, each seeking to claim his mantle, while the insidious flaw began to take root, casting doubt upon their future. It was Askelion, last of the Sanguinary Guard, who rose above factional divides and guided the Legion onward. Perceiving that the Blood Angels faced dangers greater than disputes of doctrine, Askelion ordained the sundering of the Legion into the chapters that endure. The Blood Angels, keepers of the ancient heraldry, the Flesh Terrors, the Angels Vermilion, the Angels in Carmine, and the Angels Sanguine. His own fate is unrecorded, yet his legacy endures in every battle brother sworn to those banners. Bound by the Codex as tightly as their flaw allows, the Blood Angels wield a discipline as a bulwark against the Red Thirst. Each chapter holds 1,000 warriors divided into 10 companies. The first company is the domain of the oldest and most battle-hardened veterans, the second through 5th from the indomitable battle companies, and the spearhead of any campaign. The 6th and 7th serve as tactical reserves, while the 8th and 9th are forged for singular fury, assault, and devastator squads, respectively. The 10th company, the chapter's future, is home to the scouts, whose skill and courage earn them a place in nearly every strike force. A strike force may draw warriors from many companies, its name often taken from its core company or its commander, titles such as Bloodspear or Primarch's Wrath, echoing in the annals. Reserve squads joining such a force take on a new designation for the duration of the battle. Every company, save the 10th, commands a host of war machines, rhinos, razorbacks, bikes, and land speeders, granting them vast strategic flexibility. The Blood Angels possess enough land raiders to deploy them as line transports, an arsenal whose origin remains veiled, whether relics preserved since the heresy or gifts of an ancient alliance with the Mechanicus. That's pretty significant. Most chapters rely on rhinos as their main transport, or at least they did before the Primaris Marines. But they have enough land raiders to field them as often as rhinos, and land raiders are significantly more powerful and hardier than rhinos. Though they follow the Codex, their craft is their own. Rhinos are modified for greater speed, though such zeal taxes their engines. The Baal Predator, armed with a twin-linked assault cannon, rains fire upon the foe, and the Furioso Dreadnought wields twin close combat weapons, bringing the wrath of Sanguinius himself to bear upon his enemies. Yes, they have they've always had kind of some unique war gear, especially on their vehicles, of all things. And they follow the Codex Astartes relatively closely. One cool thing about them is they paint their helmets not based on rank, kind of like the Ultramarines, but on what unit they're with. And I don't remember exactly what those are off the top of my head, but like I think.
Well, you're in luck. I do have it written down later on.
Oh, okay, you
in
do.
the appearance.
Okay, sweet.
So.
Okay, I'll save that for then.
But yeah, cool feature about them, because lots of people often will look at them and be like, "Why? Which one's the Blood Angel? All the helmets are
Different colors.
rainbow
Yeah.
filled."
Yeah. But yeah, it's cool. It's always been cool. Like they give a strong like vibe, almost like I want to say Firstborn, as in Firstborn Sons, where like they get a lot of cool, unique war gear to them. The Dark Angels have this a lot too, where they have like really advanced tech, lots of plasma, lots of like ancient refined weapons, and I get the similar vibe from Blood Angels too, where they're like almost preferred or like blessed by the Mechanicum, let's say. Like they get a little something extra.
Yeah. Yeah.
Were you going to say something?
I was just gonna segue for you, but
Okay, yeah. The Codex Astartes deviations. So, starting with the Death Company. The most notable of the chapter's deviances from the Codex Astartes is the existence of the Blood Angels' infamous Death Company. Not an actual part of the Blood Angels' standard organization of 10 companies, the Death Company is made up of those unfortunate Astartes of the chapter who have completely succumbed to the psychosis of the Black Rage. These fanatical and unstoppable berserkers are led into battle by a sanguinary priest or a chaplain, who are the only officers with even a chance of retaining some level of control over these psychotic killers. This company is known as the Death Company because its Astartes are considered to be walking dead men by their brethren. The Space Marines of the Blood Angels Death Company are unstoppable, fighting on with wounds that should kill even a Space Marine. They're almost like just animals that you unleash on a battlefield.
yeah, for sure.
Is that are you? Oh yeah, you're pulling up a Death Company on the for those who are watching.
Yeah, those are all Death Company guys. Pretty cool. The black armor, all the bones, and extra skulls. Everyone gets an extra dose of skulls for sure.
Do they get like their baseline is always just a state of psychotic rage, but do they get even crazier when they get on the battlefield, like completely blinded, or is it just always the same?
Yeah, like they don't come back, so it's like I think once they enter it, it is then just like that consistent. And there might be like fever pitches maybe, but I don't think it's
Yeah,
battle dependent maybe.
I
But
haven't read any novels where the Black Rage is prominent, so it's hard for me to say exactly, but without that knowledge, you would think there's some kind of like ebb and flow with it, almost kind of like with World Eaters when the nails bite kind of thing, where they can reach maybe some form of lucidity where they can like at least stuff them in a transport or something, or like if they survive the battle, like retrieve them back to base if they didn't happen to get killed.
yeah.
Without them going like totally berserk and just be uncontrollable. But maybe they just tackle
Like
them and chain them up.
I suppose they do listen to like the chaplain.
Yeah, like there's some
to some degree.
Yeah, I don't know that they're fully feral. Like there's got to be something there. Like they can use guns, they can, use war gear still, so they're not like totally.
Yeah, and they don't look fabulous. So,
but that's
how
like
do you look so good?
To an Astartes, like using your guns and armor really is like instinct. I feel like it wouldn't be the same as like a regular soldier, like we would understand a soldier.
That might be true to a degree, but there's still got to be some kind of level of like just not throwing your gun at somebody like just as a club and then just going at them with your claws and fists, right? Like if you're going full animal, like can a bear use a rifle? Like, I rue the day that happens.
Oh my god. The next one I just pulled up the image for too, the Sanguinary Guard. Pretty cool. Oh yeah, I'm also reading it.
I think you're reading that one.
Busy staring at the pictures, like, oh yeah, look at those 6-pack abs and nipples.
Hold on, Jack.
Get carried away in thought.
Jackson in the comments says, read Deathstorm. A lot of characters are Death Company. So I'll have to add that to my list.
Do you kind of agree with kind of how we're viewing it? Like, does it ebb and flow? Does it flare up when like the splash of blood hits their face? Like that kind of flares up a berserker, Corn World Eater berserker. Is it similar? Tell us more, Jax. But yeah, I'll read this a little bit. The other major deviance from the Codex is the chapter is the existence of the elite Blood Angels Honor Guard, known as the Sanguinary Guard, which includes 30 of the chapter's best and most veteran Astartes under the command of Brother Seraphan. They use modified jump packs with mechanical wings to give them a taste of their Primarch's ability for flight, so they are transformed into true Angels of Death. They are clad in ancient suits of golden artificial armor, wielding an ancient power weapon in the shape of a polearm known as the glaive incarmine. There are also swords, spears. There's a bunch. Each one of which is a relic of the chapter dating back many millennia. Each member of the Sanguinary Guard is easily the equal of a full squad of their brethren, and the deeds of each are carefully recorded by the Sanguinary priests. As their warriors second in prowess only to the captains, the company captains, and the Lord Commander Dante himself. Yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah. And obligatory, the old Sanguinary Guard looked cooler, but we'll leave that for another episode.
Shall we do a side by side?
Maybe that's the new one. It might be a little tough to see fully. And there's the old ones. Yeah, okay. So you can definitely see the old ones are way more like gilded and like.
Yeah, there's like it's that soft edgedness to Primaris stuff that just comes through with them. Like they've lost a lot of their character. Sure, you can paint them gold, but does that really make them everything that they ought to be? But I digress. Let's get on to the regular honor guard. So these kind of fulfill like a command squad role in other chapters. Amongst the Blood Angels, it is customary for the mightiest officers to be accompanied by an honor guard of dedicated elite warriors. Its members are often distinguished Astartes or the most accomplished veteran Space Marines of the chapter. These are warriors with full access to the entire armory of the Blood Angels. As a result, the honor guard is normally well equipped, and as a result, the honor guard is ably transported. Sanguinary priests and tech marines may be found within the honor guard, as can standard bearers. When operating as the honor guard for a company commander, one member of the honor guard may be nominated as the Blood Champion, who serves as the company champion. The Astartes of a given Blood Angel's honor guard always wear gold-colored helmets to indicate their elite status. So functionally the same as a command squad, but
a couple different titles. Yeah. Pretty cool. See them often. Do they paint them gold as well? Sorry, did it say?
Just their helmet.
Oh, just the helmet. Yeah. Okay.
So the rest of them will be red, crimson, and
yeah. Cool.
All right. The combat doctrine. The companies of the Blood Angels wage war much as other Adeptus Astartes, yet with a particular zeal for swift, decisive assaults from void or surface. Their strategy favors highly mobile forces, striking at the enemy's heart with an unrelenting speed. Dedicated assault units, foremost among them the Death Company, are hurled against the foe's weakest point under a storm of covering fire. Behind them, mounted tactical squads and armored spearheads surge forward to widen the breach, allowing the vanguard to drive ever deeper into successive enemy lines, breaking cohesion before resistance can form. Meanwhile, supporting forces encircle and annihilate the scattered foe, pinning the next target under withering fire. Perfection in the arts of war, tempered by centuries of life in which to master it, marks their planning as among the Imperium's finest. Yet their battle rights bear singular peril, the Black Rage. At any moment, even the most disciplined warrior may be seized by the blood-mad vision of his Primarch's final moment.
There's no way to run a society. You can't just have that. Yeah, geez. At any moment, I might snap and kill somebody.
Casting aside formation to hurl himself upon the foe with savage fury. Such rapture can wrest victory from hopeless odds. Yet it also inspires caution in imperial commanders, who sometimes forego their aid, fearing that this holy wrath may sweep beyond all control. It is a double-edged sword, that's for sure.
Yep. Quirky. Moving on to their beliefs. Sanguinius, in his wisdom, shaped the soul of the Blood Angels, raising them from a host of killers into a legion of noble warriors. Their hands as skilled with a brush and quill as with a blade and bolter. Under their guidance, they became seekers of beauty and truth, holding to their belief that the galaxy, though steeped in darkness, might yet be redeemed. This faith drives them forward towards perfection in art, in discipline, in war, each pursuit honed over centuries granted by their long lives. In this age, the Blood Angels are framed for both their savage wrath and their ethereal grace. They hold 10 sacred precepts, the 5 angelic graces, honor, humility, mercy, restraint, and forgiveness, balanced against the 5 warrior virtues, strength, savagery, abandon, rage, and detachment. Thus, they can be frenzied reapers of the foe in one breath and contemplative monks lost in music or sculpture in the next. Many seek rest in the same sarcophagi that once birthed them, believing that such slumber they draw nearer to the spirit of Sanguinius, glimpsing fragments of his eternal mind. Then they will go to any length, even wage war, to secure the materials needed for their works of beauty. Bloodstone gems from the depths of the Koror mountain, the rare larvae of the spineworm, and the shells of bloodthirsty sand clams, whose crushed remains yet yield the white pigment for their angelic wings. Neat. It's always a crushed bug when you're dyeing something. Have you noticed that? It's fun. I've read off on the last episode these angelic graces and 5 warrior virtues. The other boys didn't have too much of thought. We basically were just like, yeah, that's cool. Then we pulled up some stuff on Google real quick, and there was nothing too serious on it. But I thought it was worth mentioning again, and just like, you think those make sense? Are they good? Should I live my life by these virtues?
I was actually, that's something that I got linked into right away when you mentioned them. I'm getting strong either fruits of the spirit vibes and or the classical virtues. But none of them like are 9 specifically. Or sorry, the fruits of the spirit are 9. None of them are like 10 specifically. Like they're either different numbers, like some are 7, some are 5, some are 12, but none of them are 10. So I don't know if like it's just vaguely mimicking that kind of concept or if there is a specific influence.
Yeah, it seemed more just like mimicry, you know.
Yeah.
We did like that precursory Google search and couldn't find anything useful. But you guys are fonts of this kind of knowledge usually, so I thought let's give it another whack.
Yeah. No, I immediately was trying to figure out what that was referring to. Like a lot of them are kind of like the classic virtues, but obviously things like the warrior virtues are savagery and abandon are probably closer to vices or sins, the 7 deadly sins, than the virtues. But yeah.
Well, like, you know, at one point we had this debate between the warrior or the difference between a warrior and a soldier. And like a warrior, yeah, might have a little bit of that savagery in there, where a soldier probably doesn't. But
yeah,
you know,
reveling in the conflict.
Yeah.
Hard to say.
Segueing off into something completely different but similar vein, next week we're doing an episode with a university professor from Texas, and he has some deep thoughts about some stuff like this, and it's going to be a wild conversation. We got to warm up for it. Really flex the brain before we go into that one.
See into for Warhammer studies.
Yeah.
Department
exactly.
of Warhammer Studies of Texas University.
Yeah.
Currently trying to get my degree there. All right. Okay, let's get to their appearance. As promised earlier on, we'll talk about what color their cool helmets are. The Power Rangers assemble. The Blood Angels maintain a sacred heraldic order, allowing any Battle Brothers company and squad to be known in an instant, even amidst the tempest of war. There is not merely for clarity in the chaos of battle, but a matter of pride and devotion, each mark a testament to lineage, honor, and the eternal memory of Sanguinius. Rejecting the standard codex forms, their helmets blaze with colors that proclaim their duty. The battle line is red, the lifeblood of the chapter's fury. Close support is yellow, the strike of the sun at dawn. Fire support is blue, the calm precision before the storm. And the veteran and command is typically gold, the gleam of hard-earned glory. So the battle line typically being things like tactical squads are in red. So they're red head to toe because their armor is also red. Close support, yellow, that's like your assault marines. Fire support's typically stuff like Devastators with their blue helmets. And then, like I said, veteran and command are gold. So, yeah.
Yeah, cool look. So get it right.
Yeah.
This is important. We're telling you this for a reason.
If you're painting your Blood Angels Devastators with red helmets, you're wrong.
And we will find you.
Yeah. All right. Librarians bear armor of deep blue with the left shoulder painted red, their knee marked with the black and red badge of the chapter. Sanguinary priests are clad in a red trim with white, their left shoulder bearing the chapter's sigil in pale honor. Sanguinary priests essentially functioning as apothecaries, but with a few more religious overtones. Those who walk the path of the Death Company forsake the red entirely, donning black armor marked with a crimson cross, symbols of their final sacred sacrifice. The Sanguinary Guards stride forth in resplendent gold, and their armor adorned with the white wings and holy emblems, the living echo of their angelic forebearer. Company heraldry departs from the codex, displaying symbols upon the right shoulder, the first company marked by a skull, the others by blood drops of differing hue. When a brother is claimed by the Death Company, his company symbol is replaced by the icons of the Doomed Brotherhood, the Red X. Only in rare and honored cases does the chapter badge not grace the left shoulder plate. So, yeah, more kind of subtle deviations from the codex in terms of like marking company information and stuff. It's all cool, like little details. I remember flipping through codices, and like each chapter has like detail. Not super detailed, but they give you an idea of like what their symbols mean and where that should go, like on their knees or shoulder, left, right shoulder, left, right knee. It always reminded me of like real life. My dad has like a huge library of like World War II like uniforms and armor and stuff, and like literally like lifted from those pages, like you can see like the different sigils and stuff on like your tanks or your uniforms and stuff.
Yeah.
Stuff only like
so cool.
the most autistic of us care about.
Yeah, honestly, but like every time I've made a chapter, I've gone into the detail that I'm like, okay, so everyone's left boot is painted fucking red because they curb stomp everyone.
Yeah.
Like it's just the way it goes, man.
Honor the
Just the way
chapter.
she goes.
Yeah. But only in
Honor
the
the
first
chap.
company. In the second company, they actually do their right foot in yellow because of
No, brown, because they kick you right in the ass.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
These are the details that
Great
matter.
chapter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Going on to bolters. Though sheathed in somber matte black, the bolter of a blood angel remains the Emperor's wrath made manifest. Forged by master artisans of the chapter, each is a sacred instrument of deliverance, often graced with gilt tracery, delicate inlays, and gemstones that glimmer like captured stars, ornamentation befitting a weapon wielded by angels of death. Honor scrolls. Upon the armor of many sons of Sanguinius hang scrolls inscribed with their most exalted deeds. These are not tokens of vanity, but holy memorials. Should a warrior succumb to black rage, the script endures as an eternal testament to the hero who once stood unbroken. Armor decoration. The Blood Angels revere the artistry of their warplate. Some brothers etch their own glories into ceramite. Others bear relic suits, already heavy with golden wings, crimson drops, and sacred emblems. Each adornment speaks not of pride, but of the nobility to which every scion of Baal aspires. Chapter Badge. Known in High Gothic as the Alatus Kader, the winged drop of ruby vitae, the chapter's sigil is rendered in deep black upon the left shoulder guard, a solemn mark of their angelic heritage. For sergeants, both guards are cloaked in black, upon which the badge is painted in radiant yellow, marking them as leaders among the Emperor's chosen.
Lots of details to keep track of if you want your guides to be lore accurate when you're painting them.
And
Yeah.
you do.
Yeah.
Oh, they better be.
Yeah. Dude,
Better be.
sorry, it just keeps reminding, like, flashbacks. My dad was building a Russian tank, and he had all these, like, historical photos laid out. He's, like, counting the...
Wait, a literal tank?
No,
or
like a model.
A model. Okay.
And he's got all these historical photos laid out for accuracy, and he's, like, counting and cutting and creating rivets to make sure the rivets are in the right place of the tanks. Like, yeah.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah, details matter.
Shit, man, I haven't been taking it far enough.
Yeah.
Well, there's a new extremist version of Mark in town. Look out, world. No, no, I love all the detail, all the heraldry, and getting it all right, man. I was fucking around so hard with MS Paint when I was doing the Liber Malleus and just doing color schemes and oh yeah, let's add some fur now on MS Paint and just getting rowdy.
Yeah.
It's all fun. Can't paint a mini, I guess. Paint a screen. We'll get into their war gear. We mentioned a little bit before, they have some cool, unique stuff, a lot of fun tanks, and, we've talked about a lot of different things, but here's some more stuff. The Blood Angels are counted among the most gifted artisans in all the Imperium. Their skill in the craft rivaled only their prowess in war. Even the humblest weapon from the forges emerged as a work of sublime beauty, art wrought in steel and gold, yet no less merciless in purpose, as countless foes have learned to their doom. The fabled relics of Baal are treasured of near mythical rarity, bestowed upon or claimed by the chapter's most valiant heroes. Many of these sacred artifacts endure from the age of the Horus heresy itself, their history steeped in the blood and sacrifice of 10,000 years. When not carried into battle, these relics rest in the hollowed vaults on the Arx Angelicum on Baal, enshrined as eternal testaments to the chapter's glory. Yeah, cool. There's so many different things. Like, I think we're going to focus on relics specifically this time, but even the relics, man, there's so many, but I like these ones specifically.
Yeah, let's roll into it. So, relics. The Archangel's Shard. When Sanguinius battled Horus, he wielded a magnificent blade that was tragically shattered against the War Master's profane battle plate. The shards of that blade were gathered up and the new power swords forged to incorporate them, each one gifted to a different Blood Angel successor chapter. The Blood Chalice. The very first blood chalices were presented at the sanguinary priesthood long ago by Sanguinius himself. Legend has it that the Primarch somehow instilled a part of his being into each vessel, making them repositories of his divine power. Over the long centuries, many blood chalices have been lost in the caprices of war. Any battle brother that drinks from the blood chalice will find himself with newfound vitality, his wounds healing rapidly and the fatigue disappearing from his body. Drinking from the chalice is not without its cost, however, and every time a battle brother does so, he risks losing himself to the red thirst. Entrusted to the members of the sanguinary priesthood, those few blood chalices that remain are considered highly sacred and must be protected at all costs. To lose such a priceless relic is a black mark of shame that can never be expunged, and so blood angels will fight to the death rather than allow a blood chalice to fall into the hands of the foe. You also see a lot of blood chalice symbolism in blood angel iconography too.
Yeah.
And some of their...
Yeah, so the blood... Yeah, you can even see on this picture there's some... Yeah, very cool. Yeah. Like the chalice for sure. The blood chalice and the red grail, it's called, they are different. So one is like the main one that only the blood angels have, and then these are kind of a little slightly different. I coughed too when you were reading about the Archangel Shard. I got into this huge argument with my wife right before the show about this thing. She thought it was gay as shit. She's like, "Oh, that's so gay. It was broken and reforged, blah, blah, blah." I'm like, "No, it's cool. Like, it was at the time of the second founding when the chapter was broken. Sanguinius was dead." We got into this whole
Sanguinius
thing
was
about us.
broken. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, Andrew, a Flame of the West is the first broken sword that was reforged that we have to tribute.
Homage to, yeah.
Yeah, but this isn't them reforging a sword. They took the pieces and made multiple swords from the shards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they gave it to all the second founding chapters. Like that's such a cool kind of symbolic tie. Like just like Sanguinius was broken, his weapon is broken, the chapter was broken, and like now there's just these shards.
Yes.
Anyways, so yeah, naturally, I won that one.
Of course, as
I
one
won't be
does.
getting laid tonight, but I won that one.
At least she knows. At least she knows.
She knows.
All right. Next relic, the Exsanguinator. Used by sanguinary priests to harvest the gene seed of fallen comrades, the Exsanguinator is both a sophisticated medical device and a close quarters weapon. When a battle brother falls in combat, it is the duty of the sanguinary priest to either restore him or safeguard his genetic heritage for future battle brothers, storing it away in the Exsanguinator. Yeah, pretty much the sanguinary priests are function as the chapter's apothecaries, and the Exsanguinator is equivalent to
Wordplay.
well, yes, but a cute renaming essentially of the what is the gauntlet that they use?
Like the
And
Narthecium and the Reductor.
Yeah. Same idea.
Yeah, very same.
The Veritas Vacae. The scrolls of Sanguinius, upon which a number of the Primarch's prescient visions were recorded, are far too precious ever to be risked upon the field of battle. However, on occasions when the foresight contained therein is specific enough to be linked to a particular conflict, the ancient device known as the Veritas Vacae is coaxed into life, and the words of Sanguinius read aloud so that it may commit them to as its machine spirit memory. This ornate Vox reliquary hovers in the wake of the Blood Angel's officers, mechanically intoning the prophetic fragments with which it has been entrusted, its words containing strategic insights that might allow an attentive commander to change the flow of battle or even an entire war in his favor. This is a very interesting device. It's taking like prophecies that Sanguinius had spoken in the past, and like I imagine it comes off. It's not like very specific. I'm guessing. I think it's probably more poetic, and so like the officers have to kind of like, okay, what does that mean? And like whether or not any of this is even true is another interesting fact.
Yeah.
Like if a prophecy is vague enough, you can ascribe it to many different like things, right? So do they literally mean this?
Can mean anything.
Right, exactly.
It could be anything. And over 10,000 years, this process has become 40K-ified, where it's kind of wonky now. So it's like these poetic things are more like Dr. Seuss rhymes.
Yeah.
Where they're
Like what
that's
am I
kind of
supposed to do with
janky.
that? Yeah. But at the same time, like if Blood Angel is like reads into it and is like, oh, I'm gonna commit these troops at this time on the battlefield, like this is a foretold prophecy, and then it works, it like reinforces that.
Yes.
And if it doesn't work,
happen.
obviously you misinterpreted Sanguinius's words and it's your fault.
Yeah. I think the comment of the night is from Aiden. No, Mark, she won't be getting laid. Know your worth. Oh man. The chat has been pretty fun. We actually reached the end of the note and we have time for call-ins. We haven't been really paying attention to the text too much tonight, but if you want to call in, we're open to that. The Blood Angels, man, they're pretty cool. I kind of like the difference in 40K and 30K. It's very much like Space Wolves, where in 30K they're more like angels, where in 40K they're more like vampires. So you kind of turn up a knob here and turn one down depending on the setting.
Yeah, it's very cool. It's almost like I wouldn't go as far as calling them like fallen angels, but like they kind of go through that morphology of like, yeah, they go from like a creature of light to like this dark end form.
Yeah.
Real quick, just a note. I know in one of the first Blood Angel episodes we brought up the name of their homeworld Ball, and kind of talked about its origins, and like we didn't really see a connection between them and Sanguinius. Like it seemed kind of out of place. But I was sitting here thinking about it while we were going through some of the names and significant places and stuff. And there is a strong Semitic theme that goes through the Blood Angels, and Baal being a Canaanite god fits into that. So like you have characters like Ascalon, Ascalon, although that was probably named by the Philistines who weren't a Semitic people. But regardless, it is currently in modern day Israel. Astaroth is also a Semitic goddess of war. Nasir is Arabic and Semitic. Like, yeah, it's Midian is where Moses goes to after Egypt. Like, yeah, there's a streak of that, and that
There's even in the notes here we talked about like the Holy Sepulchre, which there's the Church of the Holy Sepulchre in Jerusalem.
yeah,
It's also
where
in Israel. So
yeah, exactly. So like, and then again, like all.
So are these the space Jews, or have we found them yet?
So
could
No,
be.
not quite.
well,
Different people.
so interestingly though, like I think this is where the tie comes in, is where Sanguinius is very Jesus like, and Jesus was obviously a Jew, so that's probably where the symbology and language is coming from, where they're like lots of Jesus vibes. So what's Jesus like culture and people like, right? So that's probably where that comes from. Obviously, the flip side to that is like the very Renaissance Italian vibes that come off with like Dante, Mephiston, Claudio, Lorenzo are all Blood Angel names as well.
Yeah, there's also
Claudio.
kind of seems to be some like Catholic overtones, but yeah.
Which obviously is much later than the Semitic origins, but still, like you have these two themes running through the Blood Angels.
Let's find out. Are they good accountants and lawyers? Or
We'll find out.
All right, I'm done.
All right, let's go to the call-ins. Hey, we'll get Aiden up first. Welcome to the show.
Hey boys, glad to be here.
Yeah. How you like the Blood Angels after this journey? Did we tickle your pickle, or what's up?
Look, anything with the World Angels in it's gonna get me. If it's got wings, I'm there.
Okay. A little bit of a fetish you have there. It's fine.
Hey,
Yeah.
don't call me out like that. Come on.
No, it's a compliment, man. I've been there. I got my own things going on too. Yeah, no, they're great. Like they got such strong vibes all over the place, man. Like angels everywhere. It's tight.
Absolutely, and yeah, Black Rage, Red Thirst, can't beat that. Nothing better than the classic Horus memes.
Yeah, there's some good Sanguinius memes, and yeah, Horus, and yeah. Do you like the vampire aspect a little bit, or are you just straight angel? Or...
I like the vampire aspect. You don't really get much of that in 40k, and when you do, it's not true vampires. They kind of lean away from the blood drinking. It's more just blood rituals in general. But yeah, it's really
or just
nice
like devouring whole corpses.
Exactly. They're not
like...
going for the blood. They're just going for whatever they can get.
Yeah. I've seen some cool, like, we've talked many times about the Dorian heresy, where people would take Warhammer Fantasy, the vampire range, I forget what they're called, but then smash them together with some Blood Angel bits to make this, like, really vampiric kind of
that would be
Blood
beautiful.
Angel Dorian heresy.
Night Lord looking kind of thing.
Yeah, if you're gonna lean into it, you're beloved. What is anyone gonna say? Our Primarch died. You can't talk shit about us. Yeah. No, I think
if it happens, we'll just kill you, blame it on the Black Rage. Who cares? You can't. It's not our fault. It's a mental illness. We can't do anything about this.
Yeah, no body, no crime, I hear. So you eat that body, gobble, gobble, and flee to Panama. Yeah.
Once again, where is Eric? We need to know.
Gobble, gobble. Yeah. So have we convinced you to buy some Blood Angels? Are you gonna go to Merlin's Miniatures there, or what?
Probably.
Nice. Yeah, me too. I gotta do a whole Crimson Paladins Blood Angel successor chapter.
There'd be so many nice successor chapters you can do.
Oh, yeah. Just the AIDS. Of course, that's an acronym for something, but there has to be an AIDS chapter out there. They give aid to people. What else, man? The astral
Surely
interference
they or something.
Yeah. Yeah, it is kind of cool to take some like loyalist chapters and not like the main primary one, but these successors are so much like the main legion there, the Blood Angels, that when they fall, it's very similar. As it's not quite the same, like I said, with the Ultramarines. They could be very different, their successors.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Lots of college tonight. Do you got anything else to say? Otherwise, we'll jump to somebody else.
Other than I got to take some autism learning tidbits from you guys, I thought I was pretty far up there, but you seem to beat me out. I got a bit more time to make up for that, but I hope to reach
Yeah.
your levels of autism one day.
One stud at a time, pay attention to those learned veterans, and we too can be as detail oriented as them. So, all right, man. Thanks for calling.
Sweet, thanks.
We'll get Marine Rat coming up next. I don't think he's got camera, but if you have one, now's the chance. But if not, hey, welcome to the show.
Hey, I do have a camera, but not on this PC. It's
No,
on
that's
my,
fine.
It's on my laptop, and I don't know how to hook my phone to my PC to get it to work.
No, Jordan keeps getting cease and desist letters for screenshotting people's faces and doing things with them, so it's fine. It's fine. You're saving me some work.
All right, the Death Company. Those are the guys, black armor, red cross on one of their shoulder pads.
For sure.
All right. In my opinion, if they were to fall to chaos, if that is a distinct possibility, I think they would go to Khorne or Slaanesh, but probably Khorne.
I don't know. Aiden made that Nurgle one. All that blood drinking, the AIDS Marines are just right around the corner.
It's one of the two. I believe Nurgle because of just how violent they are.
Yeah, let's see if I can pull up the.
I mean, I would agree that it would the most natural fit.
And when you did
Khorne.
soldiers and warriors, to me, the difference, if you're taking Space Marines in consideration, I would think the Blood Angels, the Space Wolves would be warriors, and the Ultramarines would be like your standard soldiers.
Yeah, Imperial Fists too out there in that category.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
In the Dorian Heresy, they actually went Nurgle, it looks like.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because of their planet is irradiated, and like the mutation and disease of their world is kind of like more what they leaned into as an influence. Yeah, we got to do episodes on the Dorian Heresy. I honestly really love it. But yeah, I was shocked too when I learned that. I was like, Nurgle, why Nurgle? But it does kind of make sense thematically from that angle. Like, of course, any chapter you could do different take depending what you want to emphasize, right?
Maybe it would have been like too on the nose to just like make them Khorne.
Yeah, like you always say, Jordan, those writers like to.
Yeah.
The problem with Warhammer writing, there's so many people and they're not talking to each other and they contradict literally everything.
That is 100% correct. Yes.
Because they don't speak to each other.
Yeah.
I kind of think like if future writers, if they have all the manuscripts and stuff hooked up to an AI, they can actually build a lot more internal
cohesion.
Cohesion. Because then you could always like just check all your stuff with the library of other stuff that's there. So you wouldn't even need to like kind of do a lot of guesswork and maybe there's this thing somewhere,
And involving the Black Rage and the Red Thirst, or mainly the Black Rage, do Primaris Blood Angels suffer from it?
So from what I heard when they first kind of got introduced, they kind of cured it and it went away, but now it's coming back, and it's coming back stronger, is what it kind of sounds like.
So that
kind of means.
They have PTSD even without not knowing who their Primarch even was. Damn, that hits hard.
Yeah, like reading the whole thing that Abaddon did to Sanguinius, it was rough, man. Like
to me, it sounds like a psychic scar between like the entire chapter has it.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, it was like this whole ritual. Like they hung him up, did the most profane things. Like plucked each feather off.
He pissed off the entire Legion, which was really bad.
Yeah, but you got to think about it too. Like even for the regular Marines that are suffering from these afflictions, even 10,000 years later, like imagine something happening before the Pharaohs having an effect on you today. Like that.
Yeah.
Still that length of time difference between Sanguinius and the regular Space Marines before the introduction of Primaris, who technically are closer to the time of Sanguinius because they were elevated and then put into stasis either before or right after the heresy. I can't remember exactly when, but it was very early on, wasn't it?
But who gives a shit about Primaris Marines? They suck any.
I agree with you, but I'm just throwing that out there.
Nice. All right. Yeah. Well, ain't that a thought? Yeah. With the Blood Angels, it's interesting with the Black Rage. Like, when did it happen? How did it happen? There's some chicken and egg stuff there for
Yeah.
sure. That's always fun with the prophecy and warp and time and all that. But
Also, throughout this whole live stream, I was on Space Marine 2 playing as a Blood Angel, killing
fuck yeah,
Chaos and Tyranids.
that's nice.
Fitting.
I like that for you. And
Did
now
the
you go to
Tyranids
bed
not
like
look like Horus to you?
Throws his controller at his TV, suffering the Black Rage. Yeah.
How many Horuses are we holding up? Yeah. All right. Well, any other thoughts, Marine Rat? If not, we'll jump to somebody else.
Not really. I don't have any thoughts.
He never has any thoughts. His mind is an
Neither
empty
do you.
windshield.
Neither do
He
you,
has the
Christian.
Black Rage. His only
It's
thoughts
only
are
rage.
killing.
Yeah,
But unlike most people, I love you, Christian.
I appreciate it. You are you.
I-
Benny.
I don't.
Maybe let's just end it there, just in case he takes it back. Let's just.
Let's end on a positive.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, okay. You know what? Maybe let's not do any more college. We're at 3 hours. The rest of you are pretty common. Thanks, Jax. Thanks, Alpha. Thanks, Lupercal. All wanted to have your opinion. But it is late. It is 10 o'clock, and I would like to go try and make a move on my wife.
Know your worth, Mark.
Know my worth. All right. Well, great episode. Let's do some end of the show notes. Merlin's Miniatures. If you want to buy miniatures of Blood Angels, goes to Merlin's Miniatures. Use promo code Lorehammer or use the link below, and you can get a discount. Pretty neat. Pretty cool. Also, come check out the Lorehammer Listen to Lore podcast. I read homebrew lore. You can submit to lorehammerpodcast@gmail.com.
And if you like to hear me and Jordan wax poetic about things Star Wars, come listen to the Star Lores podcast, where we talk about the universe of Star Wars. Just finished up some episodes on Ancient Sith, Darth Sion, Frida Nad, the planet of Onderon. So if any of that appeals to you, come check us out.
Nice. Jax says, end on a positive note so we can be positive. just a little blood joke from Jax. And yeah, that's why we don't let you call in very often, Jax. No, just kidding. All right, well, see you guys on the next episode. The Blood Angels are wrapped up, so I think we're going to jump into, so many times we've mentioned the Halo stars, the Ghost stars, some of these cool galactic regions. I want to do some episodes on them and kind of see what we got going on in those corners of the galaxy that we're not really supposed to look into. So, going to be fun. See you on the next episodes. Adios.